Hi, I wanted to thank you for joining me on this episode of Doing Insurance Right. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host. I'm a local farmers agency owner here in Ahwatukee/Phoenix, Arizona. And today I just wanted to go through with you auto insurance and kind of go through the options on auto insurance and making sure you understand what comes with the auto insurance. So the first thing we're going to go to, when you look at your policy or declarations page, you're going to find what they call, typically your first column is going to be bodily injury. And we're just going to take an example. So if you have what's called 100,000/300,000, which is a pretty common coverage here in Arizona. So 100,000, so you have, if you cause an accident, you have up to $100,000 for one person if they're hurt. If there's multiple people, you have up to a total of $300,000. So basically, this is you caused the accident. That's what the insurance company would cover if you have that particular coverage. Now, if you have some other coverage like $500,000 per person, $500,000 total incident, or $250,000 per person or for one, and then $500,000, those are just some of the other coverages. The second coverage you're going to find is property damage. This is going to be for all the cars, or if you hit a house, guardian rail, whatever it may be. That's what it's going to cover. So typically on 100,000/300,000 bodily injury, you're also going to see $100,000 in property damage. Your options are somewhere between $10,000 typically and $500,000. With the price of cars these days, always recommend making sure you have plenty of property. It's not overly expensive, especially going from like 50 to 100 or 100 to 250. Those jumps are pretty small. So I definitely would look at that on your coverage. The next thing you're going to want to take a look at is uninsured and underinsured motorist. Being in Arizona, about 35 to 40% of the people on the road are actually uninsured, which is obviously illegal, but does not stop them from driving. So if they cause an accident and have no coverage and you do get hurt, this would cover you. And then the underinsured, that's about 70+% of Arizona. So let's say somebody has some pretty basic coverage. With the current law right now, it's $15,000 per person, $30,000 total per incident. Typically, if you get hurt and you have to go on an ambulance ride, you're going to blow through that $15,000 really quick. And then that's where your uninsured would kick in to cover you. So uninsured and underinsured is for yourself, not if you hurt somebody else in a car accident. This is one that is for you. So making sure you have that coverage is good to have, because this one's for you. The next ones we're going to talk about is actually deductibles. So there's two deductibles. One's for comprehensive and then one for collision. So collision's pretty simple. We hit somebody else. If we have collision on our car, if let's say our car gets damaged, there's $4,500 worth of work. We have a collision deductible at $1,000. Therefore, we would pay the first $1,000. The insurance company would kick in after that. Now, let's say I've had people that are like, it's a small dent on their car, but maybe, ran into the back of somebody, and maybe it was a couple $1,000s on that. There is no deductible. There will be a charge, obviously, for the accident at fault, but there is no charge. This is just to fix your car, is the deductible on that. The comprehensive, the easiest way to explain this is it's everything but collision. So if we hit a small animal, we have hail, part of the windshield replacement, all that's going to come out of your comprehensive deductible. So those can range in, $1,000 to $2,500 or $100 to $2,500, just depending on where you wanted that price wise. So some of the little nuances, little things you can get, obviously, is going to be roadside assistance. That's going to be an extra service that's available. That's pretty inexpensive as well. Another one's going to be a waiver of safety glasses, a huge one down here, which means free windshield. So there will be no comprehensive deductible for that. That's a real big one. The next one's going to be rental car coverage. So basically, if you get in an accident, making sure you have coverage for a rental car. Typically, the company's going to have it for 30 days max, is what it's going to be set up in the contract. For farmers, for example, the lowest amount we do is $50 per day. With the price of rental cars going up and up, it's a good thing to make sure you look at it. Sometimes $30 a day is not going to get it done. There are a lot of companies that are still at 30 per day. Another one's going to be accident forgiveness. That's becoming more and more popular. So basically, if you do have an at-fault accident, you get no surcharge or no premium uptake on your next renewal or your next couple renewals. Because remember, an at-fault accident stays on your record for 3 years, just like a ticket, speeding or moving violation stays on your record for 3 years. So just something to keep in mind on those. So obviously we want to try to stay out of those. So accident forgiveness, basically you'll pay a small premium amount to give you one free, basically at-fault accident during that term. Another one you're going to find is medical payments. Medical payments are just what it sounds like. It pays for medical. If you cause an accident to somebody, they get hurt, it's going to pay for that as well. A couple of the other ones, like they have collision, or what they call loss of use with the rental car. You can kind of do that. OEM parts. So sometimes we might have a specialty type car or something to that effect. We don't want any aftermarket parts. If we did have an accident, we want OEM parts or original manufacturer parts. So we want to put those on there. That's going to be on there as well. But there are, like I said, a small few things here and there that you can definitely get on your vehicle besides your normal coverages. Now, one other thing I just wanted to go over is some people say liability only and then full coverage when you're talking about insurance on your car. Here's the thing, what it means. Liability means that you have no collision deductible. Full coverage means you have a collision deductible. Just because you have full coverage does not mean you're covered in every aspect. If you only have, for example, $25,000 per person or $50,000 total incident, and somebody gets hurt in an at-fault accident for yourself, and the bill is $300,000 for the couple of them, you only have coverage up to $50,000. That is nothing to do with the bodily injury amount having full coverage. Full coverage just all it basically states is a collision deductible. And the reason why full coverage came about is because of a loan on a vehicle. The loan company wants to make sure that you do have a collision deductible on there. That way the car would be fixed and the rates are much higher to continue to be paid for. So that's where full coverage comes from. Liability only means you just have the liability limits. You might have a comprehensive deductible, but you don't have a collision deductible. So if you get into an accident that you cause, there's damage to your vehicle, you're responsible for all the damage on your vehicle. If the cars are getting older, it's something to look at because it does save you some money. And to be really honest, you're not going to get a ton of value for it anyway. If the car's 15, 16 years old or older, or let's say you have a lot of miles on the car. Let's say we've got 150, 250,000 miles. It's something you probably need to look at to save some money on your insurance premiums. So I did want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Doing Insurance Right. As always, if you could rate, review, or subscribe to whatever platform you're listening to us on, whether it be Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google, or any of the other amazing platforms, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking with you on the next episode.